Hello and welcome. I cannot, I can believe that we're here, but at the same time, I can't believe that we're here. I've been wanting to do this part of the book for a long time, and here it is. We're finally there. We are at Chords. It is time to make some of the really big connections and some of the big things that I've been talking about in the previous sections of the book are really going to show themselves now. And it's really, it's just really exciting. It's really fun. I have quite a bit that's obviously from the book, and I have some of my own things that I've kind of worked into the stuff that I like to play around with. So some of it's going to be we're going to be doing pretty much every exercise in the extended edition now, because a lot of the extra chord stuff is really great extra practice stuff for especially when we're starting to build these chord melodies and using these smaller voicings to really help aid us in really understanding some like voice leading concepts and a ton of just other concepts. So the two things that I just played for you were the chord waltz and the builder. I just kind of played them like in succession with each other because they're all in the key of C and it all kind of works. And I wanted to show you that we can get all of this stuff to kind of sound good together, and we can really use a lot of this stuff for improvisation. So let me show you what we're doing. We've talked about these notes before. If we remember, again, Red River Valley, those opening three notes. Right? And notice how the first voicing in the chord section is now G, C, E, and we play that. One thing to talk about is going to be the right hand, and what we're really practicing on doing here. These are all downstrokes. When I'm strumming through this chord, I'm not putting any, or at least not much, power is actually coming from my arm. Most of the power, especially in starting, is something that I just want you to practice dropping the weight of your arm first. We get plenty of speed, but we don't need to set the pick in there and really go to town, right? And what you just heard that the kind of the bottom part, my E, got muted by the under part of my finger. And this is the kind of thing that if these are the first chords that we're doing, that's really going to be key, and it's why I've been, it's going to be really key that our fingers are really finding that exact spot that we're going to be able to hear those notes clearly together. And all we do to get to the smaller G7 is move our finger up to F. So we have C, or excuse me, good grief, G, C, and E. Then we have G, B, and F. All I do is move my finger up to that F. The next voicing is something that I find very interesting. It's a G7 chord. It's part of our first inversion G7 chord. However, the name doesn't matter as much, but especially right now, the big thing that I want you to be focusing on is playing these with your ring finger and your pinky finger. That F is going to be played with the ring finger. We're going to have an open G. We're going to have a D, and that's played by the pinky finger. And it's so funny because this brings up almost the opposite, right? Because it's like as we're building our technique, we want to be practicing things like making it nice and clear, right? Making sure that, you know, our fingers aren't touching extra notes in there because we will get that extra ringiness, buzziness kind of business. However, as we get a little bit more advanced, we learn how to utilize those things that once kind of tripped us up, right? And so we've been working on, oh man, making sure that all of these notes are going to be nice and clear. But then what we realize is I'm also muting my high E string when I'm playing this voicing, just in case I do fall through all the way, I don't land on the E string. I have that little bit of extra insurance there. So it's all about, you know, finding the subtlety and finding a way to be the one that's in control of that landing point, right? So going into this, and then resolving back to home. Talking about the builder, we have the middle part of our C major chord now. So now we're going to start on E, have an open G, and a C. The next chord that we're going to play is we're going to play a like no bar F. F, A, C. And the big thing to pay attention here is that we essentially have a pivoting finger, right? Meaning that this C does not have to move. And the good technique practice here is to practice making sure that we're not going from here, lifting them all up, and going back. Because now we're having to find it every single time, right? And it's like we've talked about this many times before, you know, our strings are very close together, right? So it's like the more that we can maximize our own being able to touch the guitar and feel what's going on, that's going to be the best. And it's really going to be this concept, amongst others, that's going to help us really get into the F chord, because it can be quite a beast of a chord, and it does intimidate a lot of people. But the way that we're going to do it is going to be not necessarily, it's not going to be easy. It always takes work. That's just the way that the guitar is, you know, the more we if you want to get those rewards out of it, you do have to put in the work to be able to do that. But I love this, the methodology of saying we're going to start here and we're going to start slowly piecing these things together, rather than, you know, the ultimate, okay, well, here's your first chord, see you in a week. You know what I mean? We've talked about that lesson before. And of course it's not going to be that voicing, but you know, that's just a joke. Let's see, now I'm getting off track here. Okay, so we're back to our C major here. Now we're going to talk about another voicing for our G7 chord. There are going to be a whole bunch of them. In this page, I believe there are 3 different voicings for our G7 chord, and we need to be able to play all of them, and we need to be able to hear where those chords are going. So the next one that we have is like one of the easiest ones. We have an F, a G, and a B. This is another change that has a really excellent voice leading, because your bottom note, the F, goes down into the E. Your top note does the opposite. It goes up into that C, right? So those voices are going those opposite directions. That's called contrary motion. Contrary motion. Right, and so the builder is a combination of those three chords, and exploring how those work. So one thing that I've done, and something that I would recommend doing along this path as far as like learning these little chord voicings, is I get out a piece of paper and I actually write down these voicings, right? So like for number 1, for the chord waltz, I have, okay, what are my C chords going to be? And for this one, it's going to be G, C, and E. Then we have G7, G, G, B, and F. Then we have the new one, F, G, and D. The B is going to be down here, but we're not playing it just yet. It's one of the reasons why we want to be able to finger finger with these two notes, or with these two fingers, rather than something like that. And you'll notice another reason that we're doing this is because I'm not having to move around too much to be able to get there. I'm really learning like where these notes are under my hands, right? And this is stuff that I could talk about. Quite a bit because I've spent quite a bit of time like exploring some of this stuff. So okay, so we have the builder. So now we're writing our chords. So now we have E. Our C chord is going to be E, G, and C. Our F chord is going to be F, A, and C. Then our G7, F, G, and B, right? And the thing that I started exploring kind of after this point is kind of like noticing how all of these could like flow into each other, right? So like another great one is going G, C, and E, F, G, B, E, G, C. Da, da, da. Again, really paying attention to like where those little melodic lines within our chords are. Oh gosh, we could play that song. We could go. That's not in the book. Okay, so that's like Mary Had a Little Lamb played in chords. Why not? It just kind of came out, and that's those are the kind of things that we can start to explore here. So we're going to be spending quite a bit of time on this stuff. I think we're going to be talking about this all month. I'm going to go ahead and kind of play. I'm gonna play through this all one more time with you, and then that's going to be the end for today. But this is just kind of a warm up. I think we're really gonna get going on this next week. But I have a lot of thoughts that I really want to collect with this stuff before we really get chugging on it. So this is the start. This is the beginning. So, and it's the beginning of something really fun. If you're at this point in the book, you know, congratulations, because this is where, I mean, it's been fun before, but this is where the real fun to me really starts, and this is where we can really start getting creative with this stuff. So there's going to be Mel-based stuff going on. There's going to be some of my own stuff going on here, and I guess that's probably about it. Let me play this. Let me play this for you one more time. The chord waltz in the builder, and then we'll be out. All right, I will see you next week. I may post some stuff before next week, but like I said, we're really gonna get like chugging back on the book stuff this coming week. So till then, hope you're doing really good. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.